Oh, and welcome back to the Gear4music Drums channel. My name is Theo, and this is the second episode of our mini-series where we are playing the drums, obviously, but we are adding in some pretty sweet effects pedals, not guitar pedals, effects pedals. And what you just heard then was me playing some breaks with 3 different distortions all at the same time, fairly saturated, I would say, but sounding really mean and crunchy and evil. And wow, it was really a lot of fun to do that. Now, if you're wondering how we're doing this, you can check out the other video that we did, which is either in either one of these corners. I can't remember which one, but it will be linked there, where we had a look at some reverb pedals and I kind of explained our setup. But I'm not gonna bore you with that in this video because we want to get down to the nitty gritty. We want to hear what these 3 different distortions sound like on the drums and, you know, what we can do to start creating our own sounds. Now, people have been distorting the drum set for forever, you know? I mean, if we think about electronic music or even a lot of rock music, you know, a little bit of distortion here and there, a little bit of, you know, crush the drums a little bit, just gives it that little bit of extra edge and a little bit of crunch. And, you know, if you listen to a lot of industrial music, you'll be hearing loads of different effects on the drums there as well. So let me run you through the 3 little pedals that I have here. So first of all, I have this little rat. Now we do have a big rat, but I thought this was very cute and would be perfect to just stick in your bag if you had a gig. And if one song, you know, requires a little bit of distortion, whack this little bad boy out and just start, you know, having fun with distortion. It's really simple. You've just got your on and off switch here. You've got the amount of distortion, you've got your filter, and you've got your volume. Obviously, volume is turned all the way up, as is tradition. And then over here, this white pedal here is a JHS 3 series distortion. Another, you know, very simple and easy to use distortion. We have the on and off switch. We've got the volume, filter, and distortion. Again, the exact same parameters that we do with the rat, but this will be a different circuit. So we'll have different flavors and different tones, you know. I do feel like I do sound a bit like a guitarist, so I'm sorry about that, but when you do start talking about this, you do end up sounding like a guitarist, talking about tone and flavors and circuits and all that kind of stuff. But it's unavoidable when we're talking about effects pedals. And then lastly, we probably have, you know, one of the most famous fuzz pedals or like distortion pedals ever. I mean, growing up playing gigs in punk bands and grunge bands and, you know, all the psychedelic dudes with hair over their eyes and all the shoegazy stuff, you'll see a big muff because it's just that quintessential big fuzz sound. And to be honest, it's one of the only guitar pedals I knew before making this video. So I thought I'd pick it. And we'll have a little listen to what that sounds like. I mean, you heard me playing all the pedals together at the start and we had some absolutely nut sound and the big muff is definitely contributing to that. So what we'll do now is we're going to listen to every single pedal individually and you're going to see if you like them, what you think of them. I think, like, for me, this video is probably the most interesting because I love the idea of adding distortion to drums and having that control yourself as a drummer and being able to play it live is something that I've never experienced before. I know a lot of people are doing it. What we have running into our pedals today is the kick and the snare, but when we whack the gain up on the distortion, it's going to start picking everything up. So let me just make sure. So just to start off, I'm going to turn these knobs down on the rat so we don't get too much distortion initially. Let's turn it off so you can hear the clean sound. So that's my clean tone, guys. It's what a guitarist would say, but this is just the natural drum sound running straight into the desk. So let's have some distortion. Awesome. To be honest, right then I felt like I was in Rammstein. I wanted to get all dressed in leather and have fire sort of flying everywhere, that sort of industrial sound. And you'll notice, like, when you start really pushing the gain, your inherent overtone in your snare drum will kind of peak out, and that'll be the tone that you're hearing in the distortion. And that's what I've noticed from playing around anyway. See that the note of our drum, the main note that we hear, the wee, is like being pushed through the distortion. I think it sounds great. It's not too overbearing, just like a chunky, gritty sort of, crunchy sound. So let's move on now to the JHS 3 series distortion. It's a lovely white pedal. Put it in, there we go. So I'll set everything to 12 and then we can turn it all the way up until it sounds good. So once again, here's a clean sound. All right, cool. So for me, the JHS definitely sounds different. Maybe a little bit more low end, a little bit garglier in its distortion. Not as much sort of hiss. And I don't really know what these words are, like what the normal guitar pedal words as a drummer. But as my first impression, I would say it's a little bit garglier. Not as much sort of like white noise in there, but equally a really cool and interesting tone. This once again is all about exploring new sounds and creativity as a drummer and adding distortion. Distortion is a cool one, especially like if you're making any sort of music and you're playing a gig and halfway you just whack a distortion pedal on, it's going to sound amazing. Let's move on to the big muff. Big muff. So once again, here's that clean tone. Right, so for me, that's definitely, out of all the tones that you're getting from the pedal, it's definitely my favorite. There's definitely a little bit more sustain and decay from the distortion, especially on the hi-hats. Now, like we're whacking the gain all the way up, so the snare mic is picking up the hi-hats, but you're getting this like extra chonk in the hi-hat sound, which sounds fantastic, and obviously that overtone in the snare really coming through as well, and also the bell of the ride being picked up sounds incredible. Now, I think for one last time, we're going to go through all the pedals again. I'm going to start with the Rat. All the pedals are turned all the way up because that seems like a good thing to do. We'll go through all the different pedals and then we'll have a little chat about the disgusting, horrible sound we made at the end. As a drummer, you know, I love noise, you know, like I could fall asleep with like a wall of noise just pounding me. I love that soundscape stuff. So playing around with the different cymbals and just getting this crazy feedback is just so enjoyable and so fun. Obviously, there's some refining to do there to create a cohesive sound, but it's definitely something new and really exciting. And I can see how adding effects pedals to your playing can really just inspire you to play more. And I do implore you, everybody watching, to, you know, just go out and grab. You can grab like a, you know, a Behringer pedal for almost no money. We'll link all of our distortion pedals that we do have at Gear4music below. And there's definitely something in everybody's price range when it comes to a pedal. You know, it's cheaper than adding on an extra piece of percussion or a decent splash cymbal to inspire you. And you can get a much wider range of tones. You can experiment with just running the overheads through. You could just have the snare. You could even just put the distortion on the toms or just on the kick or just on the snare. So there's loads and loads of fun to be had with this. I've seen Isaac, our sound guy, smiling in the studio the whole way through this video because it's just so interesting and fun. And, you know, and I think, you know, we could have hours and hours of fun just playing around, recording stuff and creating sounds. If you have enjoyed this video, guys, which I definitely have, please leave us a comment down below. And if there's any sort of pedals or effects you would like to see applied to the drums, let us know and we'll see if we can make that happen. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can catch more content like this in the future. I'm Theo with Gear4music. I'll see you soon. Bye.